Hey, this is Ryan of Happy Healthy Vegan. So I'm sure many of you guys have seen Joaquin Phoenix give his speech at the Oscars when he won the award for Best Actor. And typically what an actor does when they win an Oscar is they devote pretty much the entirety of their speech to thanking their agents and all the people that have helped them to get to where they are in the business. And Joaquin had none of that. Instead, his speech was dedicated to those who have been exploited.
We're talking about the fight against the belief that one nation, one people, one race, one gender, or one species has the right to dominate, control, and use and exploit another with impunity.
One species is obviously referring to human beings exploiting and dominating other species on this planet. So if that were it for his Oscar message here, a pro-vegan message dropped in there, that would have been cool, but he didn't stop there.
We feel entitled to artificially inseminate a cow, and when she gives birth, we steal her baby, even though her cries of anguish are unmistakable. And then we take her milk that's intended for a calf, and we put it in our coffee and our cereal.
Now that's the way to use that giant platform you're given there, Joaquin, at the Oscars as the winner of the Best Actor. The whole world's listening, and you delivered a very fact-based, rational, pro-vegan message, specifically calling out the exploitation and cruelty inherent in the dairy industry, and a type of cruelty and exploitation that most average people are just blissfully unaware of. So much so that this message of Joaquin's got called out by the dairy industry. Here on farms.com, they're criticizing him to no end. So on farm.com, they found a social media farmer, Dwayne Faber, to say that Joaquin's view of the dairy industry, his vegan perspective, is an example of the gap between urban and rural communities. What do you mean, the gap? It's either truthful or not. And he's saying it shows the disconnect between Hollywood and agriculture. Well, let's see, because Dwayne goes on to say, there is no doubt that when someone has the followers that Hollywood has, and he's talking about Joaquin Phoenix, they can be spreading mistruths and half-truths about the industry that you work in. So basically, Dwayne is calling out Joaquin here, saying that Joaquin is spreading misinformation. Well, let's fact check it.
We feel entitled to artificially inseminate a cow.
Is this one of the lies you're talking about, Dwayne? Are you denying that the dairy industry artificially inseminates cows? Because when journalists tried to contact the National Dairy Council about this very issue, the National Dairy Council refused to respond to this question and refused to respond to pretty much any of the questions or points raised by Joaquin. Furthermore, if you look at dairy industry website like Farmers Weekly or Alberta Milk, they both show that it's quite common to artificially inseminate cows. In fact, this one provides an 8-step guide to how to artificially inseminate dairy cows.
We feel entitled to artificially inseminate a cow, and when she gives birth, we steal her baby.
Okay, so this taking away of newborn baby cows from their mothers, is this a big lie, Dwayne Faber? Well, again, this is really easy to fact check. And even a magazine that's not really known for their stellar award-winning investigative journalism like The Guardian knows that you are just completely full of it here. In fact, they have learned this dirty secret of dairy in that it's actually cheaper for farmers to just dispose of by killing cows rather than selling them into the already cruel practice of veal. So here in the United States, our own USDA publishes annual slaughter reports. Yes, they actually do this. They report the numbers. And in this summary from 2018, you'll see that over 580,000 calves were killed. Yes, over 500,000 calves were taken from their mothers and killed. Yet the American dairy industry is bold enough to say that their farmers care deeply about the well-being of their calves. Well, killing 580,000 calves every year is not showing care for their well-being.
And when she gives birth, we steal her baby, even though her cries of anguish are unmistakable.
So Dwayne Faber, are you calling Joaquin Phoenix a liar here, that mother cows cry when their babies are taken away from them? Well, a little investigation of this shows that Joaquin is telling the truth, even admitted by dairy farmers as being true. And if you've never heard the cry of a cow mother having her baby taken away from her, it's a horrific sound that you'll never want to hear in person. And there's more than one milk industry group that Joaquin Phoenix angered at the Oscars. Here, a spokesperson from the National Milk Producers Federation said of Joaquin, If Phoenix studied the commitment of dairy farmers to animal welfare and had a fuller understanding of the contribution of dairy products to a nutritious diet, especially for children, he might have a different perspective of the value that dairy contributes to global health. I'm just going to stop there. Just let's focus on two things there. He talked about animal welfare and global health. Let's start with animal welfare. Well, how does he explain animal welfare in terms of killing over 500,000 calves each year? Or that female dairy cows spend their entire lives going through the cycle of impregnation, birth, and milking over and over again over their short 5-year life, after which they're exhausted, considered spent, and sent to slaughter. And mind you, that dairy cows normally would live to be 20 years old. And with regard to the milk industry's claims about global health and children's nutrition, again, just a bunch of BS. First of all, you have to look no further than the fact that most people here on planet Earth are lactose intolerant. 90 to 100% of East Asians are lactose intolerant. 75% of African Americans too. And to continue on with health and nutrition, there's plenty of solid peer-reviewed published science that shows that adults consuming cow milk leads to increased risk for many major diseases.
100,000 men and women followed for up to 20 years. What did they find? Milk-drinking women had higher rates of death, more heart disease, significantly more cancer for each glass of milk.
Childhood diabetes is linked to early milk exposure. Anemia is caused because iron absorption is interfered with by having milk in the digestive tract.
And this representative from the National Milk Producers Association said, Joaquin, has said these things many times. This wasn't new to us, but it's new to many people because he hasn't had a platform like an Oscars acceptance speech, adding that this milk producer spokesperson doesn't anticipate that Joaquin Phoenix's comments will impact dairy sales or change consumer perception. Oh, that's what it's all about. They're not concerned about truth. They're not concerned about nutrition. They're concerned about their bottom line, of course. Even the milk industry's own publications are well aware of the steady decline of dairy, and they're also aware that they really have no idea how to get out of this decline. It's so bad that even one think tank predicts that the beef and dairy industry will essentially be gone in the next 10 to 15 years.
Use love and compassion as our guiding principles. We can create, develop, and implement systems of change that are beneficial to all sentient beings and to the environment.
So I agree with Joaquin 100% here. Now in 2020, there's absolutely no reason for people to consume any more animal products whatsoever, particularly dairy. I mean, just think about dairy. This is just completely silly. Why would a human being consume the milk that another species produce? And a species that's totally different from us, one that gets to be, 1,000+ pounds. And remember, milk is just for the babies of that species. So I have no idea why adults would want to drink the milk that's intended for a baby cow. Secondly, what Joaquin is addressing here is how it's a win-win for the environment and a win for animals not being slaughtered needlessly if we switch to other forms of these products that we're used to. And now in 2020, it's so easy to find plant-based milks. You don't like almond milk? Cool. Try oat milk or whatever, nut milk, whatever, hemp milk, flaxseed milk, you name it, it's out there. And as far as meat, if you must eat something that's like meat, there's all the plant-based burgers out there. I'm not going to plug any of them right now, but I agree with him 100%. Vegan is a win-win-win. Health, animals, and environment. So anyway, guys, what'd you think about his speech? I know there's many versions that went viral, edits and memes and all that stuff on Twitter. I've seen a whole bunch of them. So I'm really glad that Joaquin used this opportunity to just take it to the dairy industry who really needs to get it taken to. And I was happy to make this response video that shows exactly what Joaquin said. And despite what the dairy industry people are saying, he did not lie. He did not misrepresent anything. It's so ironic. They're the ones who are misrepresenting the truth. So anyway, leave your comments down here, share this video, hit like, and until next time, guys, let's vote vegan.